Imagine being a billionaire with everything money could buy, except the one thing that mattered most, your missing daughter. Now picture walking the cold city streets one rainy afternoon, lost in grief, only to spot a young black street kid, wearing your daughter's one-of-a-kind necklace, the one she wore the day she vanished. What comes next will leave you breathless. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button because what you're about to hear isn't just a story. It's a truth that broke hearts, healed wounds, and stunned. It had been 3 years since billionaire tech mogul Jonathan Merritt last saw his daughter Ava, the light of his life who vanished without a trace on a foggy spring morning after leaving for her volunteer shift at a children's hospital downtown. Her disappearance crushed him and tore apart the foundation of everything he thought he knew about control, safety, and the illusion of power. Ava wasn't just a daughter. She was his moral compass, his anchor in a world of ruthless boardrooms and cold calculations, and her sudden vanishing made headlines for weeks, with helicopters, thermal drones, psychics, and the best detectives money could buy, all leading to dead ends until one gloomy August day, as Jonathan walked the crumbling back streets of Eastwood District to check on a community tech school his foundation was funding, something glimmered through the murky city drizzle. A delicate, heart-shaped ruby pendant, unmistakably handcrafted, swinging gently around the neck of a young black street kid, no older than 10, sitting on a curbside peeling a bruised apple with a pocket knife too rusty to cut properly. The necklace was Ava's, custom designed by his late wife, Alicia, before she passed away from cancer, a one-of-a-kind piece that had Ava's initials engraved in microscopic font beneath the ruby. There was absolutely no question. It was hers. Jonathan froze. The boy, barefoot, with dusty jeans 2 sizes too small and an oversized hoodie smeared with soot, noticed the man's stare and leapt to his feet, eyes wild with fear like a cornered animal. "Hey, kid, wait, please!" Jonathan called out, but the child bolted, dashing into an alley riddled with graffiti and broken bottles, and instinctively, Jonathan chased. His body unused to sprinting, lungs burning, shoes slipping, heart pounding with a wild hope and ancient fear that maybe, just maybe, this was the break he'd begged the universe for. The boy zigzagged through narrow corridors of shadowy buildings until he ducked into an abandoned laundromat, breathing hard behind rusted washing machines. And when Jonathan finally caught up, he raised his hands slowly and said, "I'm not here to hurt you. I just need to know where you got that necklace," his voice shaking with something between desperation and dread. The kid's name, he learned after cautious coaxing, was Malik, a foster system runaway who'd been on the streets for almost a year, surviving by dodging gangs, skipping meals, and sleeping in construction sites or under bridges when lucky. And as Jonathan knelt down to see the pendant close, he noticed the tiniest chip on the edge of the ruby, a chip Ava had gotten when she slipped on their marble staircase the night before her disappearance. Malik said he didn't steal it. It was given to him by a girl named Eve at a homeless shelter months ago. A girl with bright green eyes and a quiet voice who always wore hoodies with the hoods up and gave away her food before eating. Jonathan's blood ran cold. Ava had green eyes. The name was close. Eve could have easily been a safe alias. The next day, with his security team and private investigator, Jonathan scoured the homeless shelters, reviewed hours of footage, and found grainy CCTV footage of a girl, hoodie pulled low, gently handing Malik a bowl of soup, and around her neck unmistakably was a chain identical to Ava's other necklace, a silver key he gave her when she turned 16. Now more convinced than ever, he expanded the search. And a break came when a social worker at a shelter on the west side recalled a girl matching Eve's description who'd volunteered under a fake name and disappeared after protecting a kid. From a violent man who'd come looking for him, Malik, it all came tumbling out. Ava hadn't been kidnapped, but had faked her own disappearance after overhearing a damning conversation in the mansion between Jonathan and a board member about covering up a scandal involving illegal surveillance software used on orphanages overseas, a scandal that cost lives. Ava had confronted her father that night, and when he denied wrongdoing, she realized the man she adored was part of a machine hurting those she swore to help. So she vanished, planning to live as the people she once helped, dedicating her life to fixing the damage her father's tech had done, and found Malik during one of her volunteer stints. She protected him like a brother, taught him to read, gave him her necklace when he was beaten up for stealing an orange, saying it would make him feel safe. When Malik told Jonathan all this, the billionaire was shattered, not just by the betrayal, but by the truth that his daughter had done what he didn't have the courage to, stand for justice, even against her own blood. But Malik had more. He showed him a phone Ava had left with him in case anything happened, and Jonathan used it to trace Ava's last known location to an underground network of runaway teens and whistleblowers exposing corruption. When he finally found her, she didn't cry or shout. She just looked at him with silent, haunted eyes and said, "Did you come to silence me too?" That line broke him. He dropped to his knees in the dirty warehouse, sobbing, not because he'd lost her, but because he realized he had never truly known her. Over time, Ava agreed to come home under one condition: that Jonathan publicly confess his role in the scandal and use his wealth to fund real systemic change. And shockingly, he did. The press conference rocked the country. Jonathan Merritt, Silicon Valley's titan, admitting corporate crimes, handing over names, resigning from his companies, and vowing to rebuild everything from scratch. But the real miracle? He adopted Malik, a child he would have never looked twice at before, a street kid who became his bridge back to humanity. Now, 3 years later, Jonathan, Ava, and Malik run a global foundation named the Necklace Project, helping foster youth, street kids, and whistleblowers get protection, education, and a voice. And every time someone asks Jonathan what turned his empire upside down, he smiles and says, "A little boy wearing a ruby necklace reminded me what love really looks like." So if you're still watching this, remember, one act of kindness, one small detail can unravel the biggest secrets. Subscribe for more real-life stories that restore your faith in what's possible, because this world needs more Maliks, more Avas, and yes, more people willing to be changed.